It's Wednesday, May 31. In the headlines, in local news, Jamaica's economy projected to grow and Education Minister responds to salary concerns. In business news, VM Group close to acquiring Republic funds. Regionally, in Grenada, IMF against continued tax amnesty. Internationally, in Ghana, hundreds reportedly stuck in Ashanti gold mine. And in sports, Bunny Shaw's contract with Manchester City extended. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The Jamaican economy is expected to grow by just under 3%. That's based on the numbers analyzed for the January to March quarter this year. Speaking at the Planning Institute of Jamaica's quarterly press briefing on Tuesday, Director General Dr. Wayne Henry said the timing has defied previous projections.
This performance reflects in part the impact of the retooling and expansion as well as pivoting undertaken by firms as they sought to manage the challenges brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. The preliminary outturn for the quarter resulted in growth of 4.3% for the fiscal year 2022-23 and represents full recovery in overall output levels from the impact of COVID-19, 1 year before the projected recovery date of fiscal year 2023-24.
According to the PIOJ, the services industries galvanized by tourism remain the standout performer. Every sector in this category recorded improvements for the quarter.
This was facilitated by the continued recovery in the economies of Jamaica's main trading partners and was reflected in the positive performances for the transport, hotels and restaurants, and other services industries. 2, increased domestic demand associated with the strength of the recovery, particularly in the hotels and restaurants and transport, storage and communication industries.
Mining and quarrying grew by 95%.
The resumption of operations at the Jamaica alumina plant during the July to September 2022 quarter, following its closure in August of 2021.
Providing there are no external shocks, Dr. Henry expects this growth rate to continue. Education Minister Favour Williams has responded to allegations of teachers not receiving their full salary over the last 2 months. There were also concerns about technical support for teachers. The ministry released a detailed statement on Tuesday, and Minister Williams provided further details at the post-cabinet press briefing on Wednesday.
And the Jamaica Observer quoted the president of the Westmoreland chapter of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Carrie Ann Wollaston, as saying, "There was even a teacher in my parish who got $6.68 for her salary in March and was not paid the correct amount up until now." The Ministry of Education and Youth is declaring that that statement is blatantly false. And in this case, there was a deduction going to a credit union as well. So we continue. We will, as of now, whenever these issues come up, we are going to research them and we're going to put it out in public. We're tired of just the negatives around this, the innuendos. We're tired of the false claims, and we'd like the president of the JTA, Mrs. LaSonia Harrison, to bring us specifics. It does us no good for her to continue to speak in generalities. There are teachers that have come with specific situations and they've gotten responses.
Students from across the island are participating in the 8th National Skills Competition at the National Arena in Kingston under the theme Future-Proofing the Economy through TVET. The competition is being held from May 30 to June 2. The National Skills Competition is a Heart NSTA Trust event created to expose and equip young people with the necessary skills to further their education, pursue business opportunities, or advance their careers. Managing Director Dr. Tanisha Ingleton urged participants to be ambassadors of TVET.
Do not be a part of this deficit narrative that would have not served us well for years. Spread the word about its importance and the boundless opportunities it offers. Encourage young people to explore TVET as a viable and rewarding career path. Let us break down barriers, let us challenge the stereotypes, and create a future where every individual can thrive.
Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams says the event is not just a showcase of talent and expertise, but a testament of a commitment to future-proofing Jamaica's economy.
The theme of this year's competition, Future-Proofing the Economy through TVET, resonates deeply with the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead for our nation. As we navigate the complex and rapidly evolving global landscape, it is imperative that we equip our young people with the skills and knowledge that will enable them to thrive in the future.
She says it's more than just talk. Plans are being mobilized to upgrade labs and equipment across the TVET institutions.
In our high schools in particular, and ensuring that we take TVET all the way down to our primary schools so that they begin to understand the skills that are available to them as they grow in their education.
The competition serves as a platform to identify and train participants of the World Skills International Competition, scheduled to take place in France in 2024. It targets youth across the various tiers of the education system who will be inspired to participate in future competitions in their skill area of choice. Congratulations are in order for the Jamaica College Robotics team that created history by becoming the first team from Jamaica and the wider Caribbean to receive the Motivate Award at the first Tech Robotics Championship. The international contest held in Houston, Texas, brought together 192 student robotics teams worldwide. The Motivate Award is presented to the team that best reflects a commitment to inspiring others and boosting the awareness of robotics within their communities. One student received a badge for inspiring a judge, while members of the 12-member team were exposed to scholarship and sponsorship opportunities to further advance their careers in the science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics fields, the STEAM fields. Former State Minister in the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Orlando Terrelong, who visited JC's Old Hope Road campus to congratulate the boys, said the achievement of the boys shows what is possible with hard work and dedication. In the business report, VM Group close to acquiring Bajan firm Republic Funds. Denise Rodney has that story, plus your usual market summaries.
Months after announcing its intentions to acquire Barbadian investment firm Republic Funds, the VM Group says it hopes to complete the acquisition this year. Group CEO Courtney Campbell says regulatory approval has been obtained for the deal, which was first announced in 2021, and explains what the acquisition means for the future of the group.
We also made significant progress in obtaining regulatory approval to complete the acquisition of Republic Funds Barbados. And we expect to complete this transaction by the end of 2023. And the acquisition of Republic Funds Barbados is meant to be only a first step in our journey to expand the asset management business in the Eastern Caribbean. It is what we call our beachhead in the Southern Caribbean.
For your market updates, in foreign exchange trading for Tuesday, May 30, the US dollar sold for an average of $155.45. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $114.44. The pound sterling traded for $193.17, and the euro sold for an average of $168.08. In JSE trading, the JSE index declined by 1,165 points. The junior market index advanced by 4 points. The combined market index declined by 1,042 points, and the All Jamaican Composite Index declined by 1,804 points. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 107 stocks, of which 53 advanced, 35 declined, and 19 traded firm. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited Variable Preference, and Barita Investments Limited. Stocks declined for AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, Berger Paints Jamaica Limited, and Caribbean Assurance Brokers Limited. Trading firm were Access Financial Services Limited, General Accident Insurance Company Jamaica Limited, and iCreate Limited ordinary shares. The overall volume leaders were Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited with over 3 million units, Switch Company Limited with over 2 million units, and Dollar Financial Services Limited with over 1 million units. In regional stocks, in Trinidad and Tobago, 0 securities traded. On the Barbados Stock Exchange, Government of Barbados Bond Series B was the sole security trading 10,000 shares. In regional business, Barbados has told a major renewable energy conference that small island developing states, SIDS, need to have equal opportunities to access financing, among other things. That was part of the message delivered by Minister of Foreign Affairs, Kerry Simmons, as he addressed a 3-day meeting on transitioning to renewable energy, which kicked off in Barbados on Tuesday.
There is the need for the fostering of cooperation in the Caribbean to also speak to the state of affairs with regard to our economic and economic regulatory development. All regulators continue to struggle with limited resources, continue to struggle with respect to the skill sets, the human resource skill sets that are necessary for them to be able to advance at the pace we require the movement towards renewable energy achievements. The setting of tariffs, the ensuring of the level playing field, the expediting of processes of regulatory infrastructure management are all part and parcel of the challenges that our regulatory officials have to contend with.
ARENA's project facilitation platforms, the Climate Investment Platform, CFP, the so-called CFP, and the Energy Transition Accelerated Financing Platform, so-called ETAF, aim to address this challenge. Through ETAF, we have already received pledges nearing 1 billion, set to scale approximately 1.5 gigawatts of renewable energy projects across the globe. Our intent is clear: enhance SID's capability to develop bankable proposals, facilitating efficient financing for project developers, and support investors and lenders to build stronger project portfolio.
In international business, Wall Street indexes ended the day mixed, pressured by worries about U.S. lawmakers opposing to a debt limit deal.
Worries remain over opposition to the deal to raise the debt ceiling, but tech shares were boosted by NVIDIA as the chipmaker eclipsed $1 trillion in market value at one point during the session. The Dow dropped nearly 0.2%, the S&P 500 closed flat, and the Nasdaq rose 0.3%. Over the weekend, U.S. President Joe Biden and Republican House of Representatives Speaker Kevin McCarthy agreed to a 2-year deal, lifting the debt ceiling and capping some federal spending. On Tuesday, McCarthy said the deal should be easy for Republicans to vote for and was likely to pass. However, some right-wing Republicans said they opposed the bipartisan measure. CFRA Research Chief Investment Strategist Sam Stovall says he thinks the bill could face a bumpy path before eventual passage.
Well, even though we don't have an agreement that is on paper with the debt ceiling, I think that more drama could be injected, that maybe we actually have the first pass at Congress not be approved because the fringe parties want to make sure that their voices are heard. But we do think that the debt situation will resolve itself by June 5th. Doesn't mean, however, that the headwinds have turned into simply a light breeze, because now we have to focus on the FOMC meeting in the middle of June and still the possibility of recession sometime in the third quarter. So I think investors will still be sitting on their hands.
NVIDIA paired gains after setting a record high as the company anticipates a surge in demand for its AI chips that power chatbot sensation ChatGPT. It finished up 3%. Only 4 of the S&P 500's 11 sectors were higher, while declining stocks outweighed advancing shares on both the S&P 500 and NASDAQ.
In market days for oil prices fell by over 2% on Wednesday on a stronger US dollar, and as weak data from top oil importer China raised demand fears. Brent crude futures were down $1.75 to $71.96 a barrel, and West Texas Intermediate crude fell $1.90 to $67.56. And that was the business report on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney.
In regional news, a 3-day meeting on transitioning to renewable energy started in Barbados on Tuesday. The event is co-hosted by the Government of Barbados and the International Renewable Energy Agency. During Tuesday's session, participants heard how the creation of a carbon credit system could be a game changer for small island developing states. More in this report from Rianne Phillips.
The idea of the carbon credit system was pitched by Barbadian businessman, the Most Honorable Ralph Busy Williams, during his contribution to the panel discussion.
I am proposing to the rich countries of the world that they need to set up a payment system to pay for carbon credits. And I'm asking for $100 a ton. For every ton of carbon that we do not put into the atmosphere, we get $100.
And he's envisioned some possible uses for the credits, such as assisting in the recycling of batteries and developing new systems.
In Barbados, we have already hired Stantec consultants to do an evaluation on whether we could install pump storage here, which is a big lagoon at sea level, a big lagoon be 6 to 1,000 feet above the sea level, and we connect the two of them with a huge pipe, and in that pipe would be pumps and turbines, and during the day when the sun is shining and the wind blowing, you pump the water to the big lagoon at the top, and in the night you run the water back down. Proven technology, been around for over 100 years. So just think about it. It can be done. I believe in Barbados it will cost $300 to $400 million. If we can establish it as a system that can be done all over the Caribbean. And if you can sell the carbon credits, you can pay back for it.
During the discussion, participants heard how the 19 borrowing member states of the Caribbean Development Bank have been measuring up in the renewable energy arena.
Overall, when you look at the targets that were set and where we are versus where we said we would be, we are way behind, I think. And the bank is cognizant that we need to really accelerate and ramp up and scale up the investments in energy to really meet the challenges that we face in relation to climate change and energy security.
The conference is set to end on June 1. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has advised the government of Grenada not to continue a tax amnesty program that it implemented in January 2023. More in this report.
Tax amnesty was announced in the presentation of the 2023 budget statement by then Finance Minister Deacon Mitchell, who explained that millions were outstanding in taxes, late fees and penalties, and the amnesty was aimed at settling money owing to the government. However, the International Monetary Fund has advised the government of Grenada not to continue a tax amnesty program implemented on 1st January and scheduled to conclude on 31st December 2023. Hudden Lin, IMF Mission Chief for Grenada, in the just concluded Article 4 consultation of the IMF's Article of Agreement, said the government will have to enforce stronger collection policies.
By only saying it's not enough, the government will have to illustrate the stronger enforcement in collecting the tax. This will really signal that we want to strengthen the enforcement, and there's no concern. I guess you're concerned about the moral hazard issue, and we hear very, very strong commitment from the finance minister that it will be the last one.
The mission chief advised that this should be the last tax amnesty.
We emphasized several times to the government that this one should be the last one. Not only from the government's perspective, this is last one. It should be very deeply in people's mind, and those who are owing tax to the government, this is the last one.
Ms. Lin went on to say that there has been significant improvement over the years in regards to tax collection.
We have been engaging with authorities on that matter for a while. It has been improving, and as you can see that the tax collection in the first quarter and in the past year, it has been quite good and in line with what you can see from the nominal GDP growth. That said, a lot of still there's some room for improvement in our tax collection.
She further highlighted some measures that can be utilized by the government to ensure better tax collection.
The administration office, they could also utilize some indicators to see whether there might be some risks in the tax collection by comparing the collection against the local activity, and that would be, for instance, imply for imports, etc., and to see early signal of possible tax not being collected and go after them.
The IMF mission chief for Grenada made the statements during a news conference on Friday. Nisha Peters, GBN News.
The Antigua and Barbuda Broadcasting Services ABS TV Radio is further expanding its global footprint of partnerships. The station is cooperating with China's global television network, CGTN, on content sharing. More on that story.
Promoting communication and understanding between China and the world is one of the aims of China's global television network, CGTN. Headquartered in Beijing, CGTN has 3 production centers located in Nairobi, Kenya, Washington, D.C. in the United States, and in London in the UK, with a view of enhancing cultural exchanges and mutual trust between China and other countries. The media giant's cooperation with ABS Television and Radio spans different areas, but chief among them is content sharing through its online portal AMSP Connect and Share. CGTN's planning desk, Greg Chen, says the platform was launched in February last year and the goal is clear.
Because we're trying to create a free services based to build more connection between China and the rest of the world. And of course, we're trying to build a connection between different users, not only China, but also other countries, television stations, organizations, like schools, business partners that all use this platform to build a connection with each other.
Other services include training opportunities and seminars, news reporting support, and multimedia production support, among other areas. While the portal gives free access to download CGTN's content, ABS Television and Radio will be able to upload its very own content to the portal for use in China and other major markets.
And other users can actually upload your materials here, and for CGTN and for other users download as well. Okay, so you can choose to make it a free basis. And of course, you can charge for a specific items that you really want to make a profit out of. You want to show everything happening in your country, what's the major events there, you can share it on here. So CGTN, first of all, will use it, and then we'll recommend other users and other channels to distribute the materials for you.
ABS's General Manager Enema Brathwaite welcomes the mutual cooperation between both media entities, ABS television and radio transcending borders through opportunities of mutual cooperation. Here in Beijing, I'm Terry Andrew for ABS News.
In international news, in Ghana, hundreds are reportedly stuck in an Ashanti gold mine. Many of them came out but were arrested for working underground illegally. Families of those held by police have called their arrest cruel. Al Jazeera has more in this report.
Helpless and anxious. These families say their relatives have been trapped in an underground mine for days without food or water. Dozens of workers managed to get out, but were arrested. They're accused of operating illegally in Ghana's gold mining town of Obuasi. The relatives say police are asking for cash to release them. It's unclear whether those still underground are unable to get out or are reluctant to, through fear of an arrest.
My husband is among the trapped. There's no other job for us here, so we depend on the mining industry to make a living. We're illiterate and can't work anywhere else. They've been underground for days and a week. They're dying. We need help. We don't have the $2,700 they're demanding for each of those arrested.
Anger has now led to protests outside a local police station, and soldiers have been deployed to the area. Families want those arrested to be released and those underground to be helped out without fear of punishment.
We can hear them scream underground. They're dying. This is our land and our resources, but we don't see any of the benefits. Times are hard. What's wrong with people going to work to try and make ends meet?
The owner of the mine, Anglo Gold, says it's aware of reports alleging illegal miners may have been trapped in its mine. But it says they are not confined in any way, and the main exit is open. About 1 million people are employed in Ghana's mining industry. Rising unemployment has led to an increase in people turning to mining. Many operate illegally. Ghana's president, Nana Akufo-Addo, has launched crackdowns on such activities for years. Families insist the threat of an arrest adds insult to injury. And illegal or not, they say their relatives don't deserve to die for trying to make a living. Katia Lopez-Odoyan, Al Jazeera.
In sports, reggae girl Khadija Bunny Shaw has signed a 2-year contract extension with Manchester City. Shaw enjoyed a breakout season in 2022-2023, scoring more than 30 goals in 30 games across all competitions. The striker, who had 1 year remaining on her previous deal, is now contracted at the Academy Stadium until the summer of 2026. In other sporting news, Jamaica's under-20 women's football team ended their CONCACAF championship with a win, defeating Panama 4-1 on Tuesday. Natoya Anderson and Davy Richards netted the winning goals in the Dominican Republic. Meanwhile, defending champions, the United States and Canada, both teams have advanced to the knockout stage, along with Mexico and Costa Rica from Group B. The 2 finalists and the 3rd place winner will advance to next year's FIFA World Cup. A 19-man Olympic ice hockey squad has been named to represent Jamaica in the June 8 to June 10 3-game series against Puerto Rico in New York City. The team, nicknamed Buffalo Soldiers, includes forwards Liam Folks, Trey Folks, Quinn Shevers, Josh Mitten, Nate Mitten, Kyle Newber, Carter Thornton, Sean Murphy, Colby Johnson, and more. Several youngsters will be making their debut at the New York series, among them 19-year-old defender Jordan, who currently plays for Owen Sound Attack in the highly competitive Ontario Hockey League in Eastern Canada. Jamaica's Olympic Ice Hockey Federation President Don Anderson, who previously served as chef de mission for multiple Jamaican Olympic teams, will lead the team's excursion to New York. And that's the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thank you so much for watching.